All right, traders. So we've gone through and we've talked about, a lot of psychology. We went through and we talked about some technical analysis. But one of the things I really want to break down for you today is fundamental analysis. This does take a toll within our trading career. And then if you go and you take a look at it, right, a lot of price action we already know is algorithmic, planned out. It's all, just ran by computer. It's all manufactured price action. But one of the things I want you to understand is there are news events that happen within the foreign exchange market. There is news that happens within the cryptocurrency market, within the stock market, and a lot of these different things. And the thing is you have to be able to understand the fundamentals that are at play as well. So you're not just sitting there in the chart, getting ready to log in and go through your trading session, and boom, out of nowhere, there's all of this volatility coming into play and price shoots up 40, 50, 100, 200 pips. You see a lot of fluctuations within the market. So when you're able to go ahead and plan out your trading week as you should, you need to be able to go through and take a look at the fundamentals. What is going to be happening during my trading session for the assets that I trade during the times that I trade, right? And you go through and you take a look at this, and you can go ahead and you can break it down by the day that you're trading. You can break it down by folder. You can see all of the low impact news. You can see all the medium impact news, and you can even see the high impact news. And it's going to go ahead and it's going to give you some data, right? Some of these will even give you some insights on what they're expecting to happen within the currency. And then you can go through and read about it, see what's really going on. But it's really just good to know when there's going to be that high impact news during your trading session. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it, a completely free tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to jump over to forexfactory.com. I'm going to walk you guys through how you can see some of the economical events that are happening within your trading sessions and show you how you can be better prepared. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. I'll see you guys on the other side.
All right, traders, here we are on forexfactory.com. What we're going to do, this is just kind of like the main page that you're going to see here. You'll see some overall data here going on for some of the major pairs. You'll see a little basic briefing here of the calendar. But what I'm going to have you do is just come right up here to the top, and we are going to click on a calendar. Now, what the calendar is going to do is it's just going to give us the entire news for this week, just give us a breakdown, just give you guys a little orientation. You got the week that you're looking at over here on the left-hand side, gives you the date going down this first column. You got the time of day that the news is going to be happening, and then you have the currency and the impact. Now, if you guys want, you can go ahead and create a free account on the top right-hand side, and then what it'll allow you to do is set your actual time. If it's not reflecting your local time zone, just go ahead and create an account and just get logged in, and it'll go ahead and represent it there for you. But this should reflect within your local time zone. You'll see the currency that is being affected. So you'll see like the New Zealand dollar, the Great British pound, the Japanese yen, right? You go through, so you're gonna be able to see all the assets that are being affected, and then you'll see impact. Now these folders are gonna be the impact that it is. Now this yellow folder is just simply gonna be a low impact news. This orange folder here is gonna be a medium impact news. Come down here, these gray folders are just simply bank holidays. And then you come down in these red folders, just think of this as that big red stop sign. This is gonna be that high impact news. This is gonna be where that very large volatility comes into the market, and that's where you see these bigger moves. So being able to notate what pairs are being affected by this at approximately what time and date is gonna really be able to help you out. So give you guys a little orientation here. You got this set up. If you forget what those folders mean, down here bottom left hand side you do have a legend. It'll show you high impact, medium, low, and then you have breakdown pretty much all this stuff here. So you go through, give you guys a little rundown. What I do each and every single week, I'll come through and I'll just kind of do like a little forecast of what's going on in the markets, what's going on for the week. So I'll take a look at, just overall what's happening during my trading session. So for me personally, I'm trading Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Granted, if I see an opportunity within the markets, but those are my designated trading days. And what I'll do is I'll come through here and I'll take a look, during the week, which of my pairs are going to be affected during which time. So typically what I'm going to be trading is the London and New York crossover. So I'm trading about 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to about 11 to 12 in the morning here, so going up to about noon sometimes. And then sometimes I'll let my trades just kind of carry out throughout the day, going into Asian session if they are actively running. But just kind of jump in here, I'm looking for any news that is going to affect my trading plan. So I see Monday, I come in here, I start to take a look earlier in the morning, don't really have any impact going on there. All day is going to be a Euro holiday, so we're probably going to see lower volume here within the markets. Take a look at 8:30, we see that the US dollar is going to be impacted. We have some medium impact news. This is the Empire State Manufacturing Index, and what we can do is we can come in here and we can take a look at some of these data points. And if you click on this manila folder here with the paper, what it's going to do is it's going to give us a little rundown on what this news is. So you can see the source coming from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. You can simply click on this, it'll pop everything up for you here. You can come through, you can read this out, right? You get the measures. This is the level of diffusion index based on surveyed manufacturers in New York State. And typically when you take a look at the usual effect here, right, over on the right hand side, you can see the history of each time this happens every month. You can see the actual, the forecast, and previous, right? So the previous is what had happened the month prior, and then you take a look at forecast. This is what they're forecasting for July. They were forecasting negative 2.1, and the actual was 11.1. So when they say the actual is greater than the forecast, it is good for the currency. So seeing how the United States dollar is being impacted this week, I can see predominantly most of the times here, the actual is coming a little bit more than the forecast. You can come through here and you can take a look at this, right? You can see the forecast, you can see the actual, and you can kind of get this breakdown. But we're starting to see a shift here. In last July, or just this last month when this had happened, they were expecting a forecast of a negative 2.1, and they came out with an 11.1. So that's really good for the currency. So we may be able to see that same effect coming up here within this month, right? So you can see the breakdown and you can see the frequency, right? This is going to be how frequently that this is going to pop up, and you can see that it's released monthly around the middle of the current month. So if you guys know, you come through, you can start to see how this is being impacted. As you guys start to track some of the fundamentals, you'll be able to come in and say, okay, this happens every single month, right? So now I can come in and kind of see how this is going, and then instead of just looking at some of these data points, you get to know how this is impacting your pairs during your trading session, during your times, and you get to come in and see what's really going on within these markets, right? You can come through here, you can see next month we're looking at September 15th, come through and you guys just get this entire breakdown, right? You get the FF notes here. Above 00 indicates improving conditions, below indicates worsening conditions. So you can see that we have a major jump. They were expecting some below average conditions, and what happened is they came up on top with a lot better indications. So that's really good for the currency, right? So we may end up seeing this again this week. You come through here, why traders should care, and this is simply a leading indicator in the economic health. Businesses react quickly to the market conditions, and changes their sentiment can be an early sign of future economic activity, such as spending, hiring, investments, right? So you guys can come through here and just simply read through all this. You can see the related stories, you can get the breakdown of what's really going on. So as you're jumping into some of the fundamentals, you can understand that on Monday around 8:30 a.m., the US dollar is going to get some medium impact news. So we're going to see a little bit of fluctuation within the dollar index there, and being able to see what's going on. And the thing is by the time you guys are seeing this, the price action at the end of the day, it's all algorithmic trading. It's all manufacturer price action. They're factoring this stuff in here before the candle even prints. They know which way price is going to go, and that's why we start to look, essentially and ask ourselves, where's the money? Where's the liquidity? So, at this time Monday, I'm going through before this even happens. I'm looking what the dollar's wanting to do, and I may be able to just help use this within the direction of my bias. So coming through here, you can take a look at that. If you want to minimize this, simply click the X, and you can go through and just continue to run down. We can see at 10:50 a.m. we have another medium impact news. I'm not necessarily concerning myself with these low impact news. That happens all throughout the day, as you can see, and there will be some little fluctuations within the markets that are caused by like stop hunts and stuff like this, and they'll just use little things like that to help them get what they want. You can see 10:50 a.m. US dollar FOMC member Waller speaks. Come through here, get a little breakdown. You guys can just continue to go through this. We don't get the data points as far as the previews and forecasts, so not necessarily sure the impact that this is going to have. Is really just kind of based upon the speaker, but just kind of concern yourself that, hey, price may move, and typically stuff like that does happen. Again, another low impact news, and we can see we have our first red folder news for this week, and this is going to be on the Australian dollar. This will be happening during the Asian session. So pairs like AUD, JPY, stuff like that, is really going to be extremely volatile during this time. So you can see monetary policy meeting come in here. Doesn't necessarily give us our data points, but you can see that this happens 11 times per year, 2 weeks after the cash rate is announced. So this is essentially going to be bounced off of the cash rate. So if you guys are following some of the cash rates, some of these other news, and you can see how this stuff is really, you know, just overall correlating with it, right? So you can come through here, see some of the related stories, understand that around that time, that price is gonna go a little bonkers, right? And if you don't necessarily know how to read this, or maybe you don't see your trading setup, just be extremely cautious, right? If you're a beginner, you're coming into this, you don't need to know how to read all these different things. You know, what is the forecast? What is this? It's something to be cautious of at the very least. Coming in, understanding during your trading times that there will be some high impact news. I come into Tuesday, I can see 8:30 a.m. We're gonna have some high impact news on the Canadian dollar. You know, if you're a new trader, and you don't know what's really going to happen, you see you got a high impact news and you got 3 different medium impact news going on the same asset that whole morning. You know, that's something to be cautious of. Maybe stay away from that asset if you're a beginner trader. You know, if you're somebody who is a little bit more experienced, you understand a little bit more on the technical side, you can come in and see how these fundamentals are most likely going to be used to help them essentially fill the orders that they need and essentially mitigate whatever liquidity it is that they're looking to mitigate. So just coming through here, guys, this is essentially how you can run through and see how this is happening. There are multiple things that happen all throughout the month. You know, the first week of every month, you have non-farm payroll. That's going to be a huge impact news that you see going on all throughout the week. You'll come in, you'll see a whole bunch of red folder news. Come in, start to read, start to understand, and just, you know, just watch how the market moves at these times. At the very least, if you don't understand, you know, how to read this stuff, one of the biggest things that you could do is jump on the chart on these assets at these times and just watch, and it will blow your mind how they use fundamentals to essentially drive price. But with that being said, guys, go through this. If you get lost in the sauce, over here bottom left hand side you have a legend. Go through this. Feel free to, you know, just read up on this stuff. You can click on these little manila folders and you can see at any point in time what's going on. You can click on the source, it will load it up for you. You can come in, you can read all of this, guys. Everything is set up for you. It'll break everything down. Just make sure you're going through this stuff. Make sure at the very least you are aware of what fundamentals are really into play during your trading sessions. Go through your week, figure it out, and get it marked out. I see Thursday, I'm going to have the US dollar impacted during my trading session again. This is something that you really want to go through and take a look at, guys. Just stuff like this. Look at the forecast. Overall, this thing has been suffering, right? The actual has been significantly less than the forecast, and this is something to take a look at. This is probably going to be bad for the DXY, right? So you go through and you see this stuff, guys, but just pay attention. Overall, just be aware, know what's going on. It is your job to know what's going on. You have to treat this thing like a business. Take a look and figure out what assets are going to be moving, figure out what pairs that you trade are going to be affected during the times that you're trading them. That's it, guys. We'll see you in this next video.